apparently I can't go 1 week without having to cover something that relates to cancel culture and soy boys and weirdos and all that stuff. Because when I see it, I have an urge to come on here and talk about it. I try to ignore it, man, but I just can't because I have so many opinions on the subjects that I have to come on here, talk about them, hopefully drive some sense into people, some common sense. Hopefully, but usually when I try to do that, I fail because people are too stupid to understand what common sense is. So, it all started with a video of Triple H. It was Triple H from 2000 and something. He was a babyface at the time by the looks of things. And he says to the interviewer that when he sees a transvestite, he turns and walks the other way while the interviewer does not, right? So it was a trans joke, right? Pretty fucking harmless, to be honest. I mean, who cares? Who the fuck cares, right? But then it escalated and turned into other things. The Triple H thing suddenly ended and more things started to pop up. Those two things were Jaida Parker. If you've never heard of Jaida Parker, she's a wrestler on NXT, which is why you may have not heard of her. And she did something yesterday that pissed a lot of people off and might cost her job. Might. We'll see. Hopefully it doesn't. But I have a feeling with WWE and they try to keep out of all politics. Unless your name's Logan Paul, you're not allowed to say anything, okay? Even CM Punk doesn't say things anymore, right? The other thing is a React streamer, wrestling React streamer by the name MrTeshk, I believe. I've never heard of this guy, but there's a lot of people going after him for various reasons. So we're going to get into that as well, and we're going to get into that one first. So, from what I can see, it all started with Wheezy, who's a React streamer, part of that wrestling streaming community with Ross and Santi Zap and is it Conrad? Conman. Conman. Part of that group of the IWC, and she put this out. I cut ties with a former colleague post SummerSlam Detroit after constantly being made to feel uncomfortable. It was always a competition of numbers and success and conversations I didn't want to be in. I've been blamed for things that have nothing to do with me because of a lack of self-awareness. I get to do things they don't, and I guess I don't deserve that in their eyes. That's what it boils down to. So in the midst of my success and growth, for a fellow streamer to, I think that's supposed to say go live on stream, insinuate I or anyone else, for that matter, don't deserve success because they don't have it, and throw out an empty threat. I will protect my brand, blah, 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 basically. So what Wheezy is saying here is that this guy is jealous of her success, right? That's the first one. Seems reasonable, right? I really can't find any problems with this, but I will get into something on that, and Weasley probably ain't going to like what I'm going to say when it comes to that. But we'll get to that in a minute. This next one, which I also believe is quite valid and should be brought up. So, MrTeshk, you say, ask me to buy him tickets to UK Money in the Bank PLE. So I did, plus booked his accommodation to stay with us. 1 month before the show, he messages me saying he can't afford to go. At that point, he's paid me nothing towards it. A week or so later, buys tickets to go. So basically what this person is saying here is that she paid for him to attend Money in the Bank when they was at the O2, and either he did or didn't go, and he didn't pay the money back, basically. Again, seems fair to me. It doesn't seem like cancel culture. But this is where we delve into the we're moving away from the reasonable allegations, and we're now delving into one post which is definitely 100% bullshit. So this person here put, now that MrTeshk is getting called out, I can finally share that when I went to Elimination Chamber, my friends and I went to the bar with him. He asked both my friends if they were with me. They said no. So he said if he were single, he would have tried to get with me. Okay? This is where you are being unreasonable here, because I don't know if you know, okay, but before the internet existed, back in the 80s and the 90s and even the early 2000s, do you know how people created relationships? It was through talking and being a bit risky and trying it on with the person you are attracted to. Which is sort of what he didn't even try it on. He says if he was single he would, but he didn't. So where's the allegation with this tweet? This is where it goes from somewhat reasonable to completely unhinged nonsense. And the reason why I bring up this tweet is because it has 350,000 views of someone who's either lying or someone who has taken a very innocent thing and turned it into like he was trying to assault her or something. If you don't want someone to come at you like that, okay, you tell them that. If they continue to do that, that's where they have crossed the line, okay? Now, in this tweet, I don't see anything about being forceful, about him actually trying it on. I don't see anything like that. So this one is a 100% grifter with over 350,000 views on this fucking tweet. And a lot of people are in these comments saying the generic, I'm sorry this happened to you. I'm sorry a man was attracted to you and said that he would have tried it on with you if he was single. I'm so sorry. You must be hurting so much. Give me a fucking break. If this is what triggers you, a man basically admitting to his attraction to you, but not actually doing anything, if that triggers you, man, imagine what the real world would do to people like this. Imagine what the real world will do to people like this. But with that grifter aside, we're going to go back to Wheezy Blonde. Now, Wheezy is saying that this guy's jealous of her success, right? Now, I don't know exactly what the, what's the word I'm looking for, situation is, what he said, right? Because I don't watch the guy. I do know that Wheezy and people like Wheezy do get ahead faster than people say like me, right? And that's fine. I'm not sitting here giving Wheezy shit, nor am I taking anything away from her. But it is a fact that people like Wheezy do get ahead compared to people like me, right? That reason is because Wheezy is a female, and a lot of virgin weirdo freaks gravitate towards female content creators, and while certainly it does increase her views, her likes, her revenue, it comes at a sacrifice of your audience being mostly fucking degenerate, perverted weirdos, which I'm sure Wheezy herself has stated many times that people have tried to say shit to her in her DMs and everything. And I'm sure that happens to a lot of female content creators, especially within wrestling. because there's a lot of wrestling fans out there, man, that they sniff a woman, my queen, because they don't really get any female interaction. So if that is what this guy was saying about Wheezy, I get the point, but you don't need to be jealous about it at the same time. Wheezy's clearly using something to her advantage. I don't see anything wrong with that. Okay, she's not on OnlyFans, so I really don't care. But all that drama's now out the way. This guy, what's his fucking name again? I forgot his name. MrTeshk. He's not actually really responded to anything. He said that he's going to be taking a break or leaving, and he didn't really try to defend himself. He didn't really try to defend himself, which tells me that the first two tweets I read are valid, and the other one is clearly a grifter trying to get likes, and this person got 792 likes out of the 350,000 people that viewed it. So I hope it was worth it if you're either lying or over-exaggerating a situation, okay? Now, let's move on to Jaida Parker, because this one... this one really fucking set fire to the IWC. So, a post was put on Instagram by an account called Spiritual World, and it says, the US House has passed a bill to ban transgender athletes from competing in women's and girls' sports at federally funded schools. This post was liked by Jaida Parker. Everybody saw that. Everybody went after her. Now, what did Jaida Parker do in this situation? I'm not going to read her tweets like I've just done with this, but she did not back down. She stood her ground, and I applaud her for that, because usually when people get in a situation like this, they back down, they cower, and they give in to the mob. She's not done that, and I think that's a great fucking thing, because over in America, you've got a constitution which states freedom of speech. We don't have that over here in England. I wish we did. I'd be able to say a lot more stuff than what I can. But so she did that. Loads of people went after her. And then it started to get a little bit more unhinged, because people started making up rumours that she was sleeping with Jey Uso. Why? Apparently there's a clip somewhere, a very obscure clip that I've not found myself, of her rubbing Jey Uso's leg. I've not seen this clip myself. So it's obvious, clearly it's something someone's made up to try and get back at Jaida Parker for liking this post about trans people in women's sports. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you a brief opinion on this situation. Not Jaida Parker, but the trans people in women's sports. And I'm going to be brief, because I don't want to say too much that's going to get me in trouble. Okay? Because, again, don't have a constitution that allows me to have freedom of speech like some of you Americans. Okay? So, a man has more bone mass than a woman. A man has testosterone, which pushes them to be more competitive compared to a woman. A man has more of an advantage genetically than a woman at most things. Just as women have advantages against men at some other things. But not really the competitive things that we're talking about here. Okay? Now, there are some outliers. For example, if you take a woman that trains very well, and you take a man that doesn't train at all, such as myself, then that woman would probably win at that sport, because I have not trained, and she has. But if you take a man and a woman who have had equal training, and they compete, the man is more likely going to win, because of the advantages of his bone structure and muscle and everything else that comes with your birth, or what comes with you as a man, right? A lot of people don't understand that. They say that it's transphobic to give girls a disadvantages in their sports, I don't know how that works. Why don't you just make a transgender division? If you really want to do this, make a transgender division, and then you don't have to have this argument. But they don't want to do that. They want to put girls and women at a disadvantage against men who clearly have an advantage against them. Okay, so that's the best way I can describe my opinion on the situation itself. But Jaida Parker, she did not back down to these people. There were people like Corey Hayes who was posting pictures, trans lives matter or whatever the fuck, right? Or trans rights or human rights, right? I mean, what rights don't they have? First of all, Corey Hayes, man, I want you to respond to this personally. In America, in the United States of America, what rights don't trans people have compared to how you deem cis people? Tell me. I'm waiting. I will be waiting for your response, Sir Corey Hayes, because it seems like you like to jump into these things immediately and grift immediately, and that really pisses me off. Really does. Because you don't care about any of these things. You don't care. You care about getting likes. You care about people commenting, saying, oh, you're such a good person. That's what you care about, Corey Hayes. You don't really care about trans people. You're full of shit. Okay? Excuse me. All I can say is that IWC was on fucking fire yesterday. Jaida Parker caused some shit, and I'm glad she did, and I'm glad she did not back down. And then there was the whole other stuff, right? And then the Triple H stuff. People need to calm the fuck down, okay? People need to understand, and I'm sick of saying this, that a joke is a joke, okay? So if Triple H has made a joke on TV 20 years ago, who cares? Who cares? Not me. You've got MJF making jokes about Owen Hart on Dynamite. I think that's a little bit more concerning than a transgender joke from 20 years ago, okay? People need to grow the fuck up. They need to wake the fuck up. They need to get out of their bed. They need to get out of their rooms. They need to go outside. They need to smell some fresh air. And I know that's like a condescending thing to say, and it's an easy thing to say. But if you see these people, man, because I watch Pack God, right? And usually Pack God, he's dissing these people in Discord chats, right? In their Discord mods. And they usually sat there when they're on camera, in their rooms, with a messy room, in a dressing gown, and they've got their furry things on, and they're saying, ma'am, ma'am, because they don't have any independence. They don't do anything for themselves. And that's what a lot of these people are like. They don't do anything for themselves. They expect everything to be handed to them, and they don't know what a real problem is. Because if they had real problems and real experiences within their lives, they wouldn't be fucking doing this. And if they do have real problems and real experiences, and they're still doing this, then that makes it even fucking worse. They're pieces of shit. Like, subscribe, follow me on X at the Crossman25. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.